Oh my gosh. Did y'all see, literally South Park did this exact bit, and I don't know if y'all have seen it, but they had a bit where like this dude comes into the competition and he's identifying as a woman and he just blows away the competition. If you haven't seen it, South Park nailed it.
When was this? Was this recent?
No, I think it went out like 4 or 5 years ago or something, bro.
There goes South Park predicting the future
It's
again.
either South Park or The Simpsons, so one or the other.
Oh my god.
Okay, but so basically, she's transgender, and she's going to be competing. Like, do y'all think that's right?
It is completely unfair to a scientific level.
I would concur with said statement. Yes.
So
the bummer of it is that there should be a way for like people in the perfect world, right? Everybody gets to enjoy everything sport.
Yeah. But
like you just can't when it's at the top of the world. Like and when it's professional or whatever it is, you just can't let somebody have that advantage.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point whenever they go through procedures and there's like an empirical way to make absolute certain that there's no advantage. I don't know how that could
you can't
happen.
do that because
but it's very clear.
Different. People are born with different advantages, so you can't do that. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and that's what sport is.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's like,
all
right, we're here to see who's best.
We have the Paralympics. Like, could we do something? Could we create a separate division?
That's fucked up.
I know it's probably I'm canceled for that. I'm definitely canceled.
Yeah, but no,
I don't know. I feel like that would be a place where you could.
I'm just spitballing, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know. It
seems like the thing to do.
This is where I told you I was going to throw some curveballs in. So we have this whole thing like in sports, especially. Obviously, like sexual separation needs to be had because. Fact I looked up, men like have on average like 33% more muscle mass than women. Just like just with that, it's like purely unfair. But
your average dude is stronger than your average girl. Everybody knows that.
So looking at the separation there, I'm gonna just be annoying right here. So we have men and women. That's been a whole thing. Like, should we separate? Should we not? In the scientific scope of it, would it just fuck everything up? If we brought into the fact that there are technically 5 genders based on your chromosomal pairings. So men is like XY, girls are XX, and then you can have XXX, you can have X, and you can have XXY. Do you think that we would need, this is just because you said that Paralympic thing.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's completely true.
Damn, man, spitting.
No,
right
but
now.
there's debate on that though. It's not even debate. Like there's a lot of biologists that say that there's like variants. I'm gonna start saying shit that I don't actually know, but like things that I've heard. So like heard,
just say it.
And the way, yeah, no, there's not 5 genders. There's 2, and then what you're saying, Jesse, I've heard those things, and they're variants within the 2 genders. But I don't even fucking know what a chromosome is, so I don't feel qualified to say anything.
Well, just because,
what were you saying though, Jesse? Yeah.
Well, just like.
But I've heard people that I've thought seemed like pretty sciencey say that there's for sure only 2.
Well, because the main way, I guess the way that I look at it is like if you're an X and a Y chromosome.
That's my bar.
If you're an X,
I think they're pretty sciencey.
If they're sciencey, they know what they means.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, just because like there's the X and the Y, which is like your average man, and then there's the XX, which is your woman, and then there's these like 3 other chromosomal alignments that create viable living human beings. There's a bunch of other ones, but you can't live with them. Do we need to like create different, I guess, sections of sports for these people? Because there's going to be different hormonal levels and everything for these different levels of chromosomes. So is it fair to that? Or is it just kind of like we're defining these genders based on just kind of like not, I guess, how they are genetically, but it's like girls are like this because they have less meat and more niceness, and guys have hair and sweat.
I think
I don't know. We're getting too into the weeds for me is the issue. The thing that where I stand is I've heard people I believe say that there's 2. and that's where I'm like, all right, seems like you know your shit. I'm into it.
But are you?
And I'm not just
I
saying
don't
like,
know, Jesse.
like
I don't know if that's true.
don't
Like
care
I
about their-
haven't read anything into that, Jesse. So if that's true, I'll take it.
It's like they're weird mutations. Like I'm pretty sure that people come out fairly healthy, but it's just.
Yeah.
It's for me, I define genders by your chromosomes, but there's also these extra chromosome ways to do things. It's like, should we acknowledge them as different sexes, or should we just kind of clump them into these other sexes? And if we're doing that, why can't we just clump the two main sexes? I guess it wasn't really a question. I was just kind of spitting facts.
I mean, you spitting mad bars
Food
right
for
now.
thoughts.
Spitting that,
What's
spitting that heat.
my question would be when I'm like, yeah, my question is, what's the difference? So, give me again. What's the most abundant mixture for a female and the most abundant mixture for?
So
male?
a man is normally XY and a girl is XX, and then there's the others.
Okay, and then there's like XXY or and then the variants or whatever, right? So what changes when you have the variants?
It's just, I mean, it's basically the same thing that happens between X and Y, but to different degrees. So like X and Y is the man, they get more of, the manly juices, but you get XXY, they have that normally would be a man, but with an extra, sprinkle of femininity in it. So it's like,
but he's still got a pecker.
Estrogen. Yeah, let me quote myself in saying that I'm not 100% sure if that science is right. I know the chromosome thing is right. I don't know if that's how it affects, the hormones and everything, but I'm fairly certain I remember that from classes. But it's like, so if that's what it comes down to, why can't we just say, that like men and women can be the same thing? They just got a little extra sprinkle of, chemical X, and they got a little extra sprinkle of everything nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bell curve, right? And the middle of those bell curves are different enough to where we can't just have men and women compete together. It's obvious. If we could do that, we would have been doing it from the start. We would have just thrown men and women into competitions all the time. Here's one that is a big one. If we can compete in sports, UFC is a sport.
There actually was a transgender.
Is that what we're gonna do? I know we can get into Fallon Fox in a second, but that's a big one. Are we gonna just be like, all right, yep, fucking
Chuck the Iceland
dudes can just wallop women?
No, that's not fair.
We can't.
No.
It's just you can't.
If they agree to
it's
it, why
bummer.
not?
If they agree to it, yeah. I mean, you can go do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean,
but you gotta know.
There's women that are protesting, Laurel Hubbard, not being able to go to the Olympics.
Yeah,
so.
That's the thing is it's not fair to women.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't even care if she was like an awful power lifter, but if you're just gonna destroy the competition, it's like, all right, you're just being an asshole.
Yeah. So I saw she placed first
She's
at a lot of
sandbagging,
different places in like around her region, but I think she's actually only 7th in the world. She's not expected to medal from what I read, and she's in the 87 kilogram category.
Man, you're
but
garbage.
She was kicking ass and like because I think she's from New Zealand, so she was kicking ass like competing against other New Zealanders and other Australians. But on the world stage, I don't know if she's actually going to be that good. Or her.
I don't know.
Here's an anecdote to prove the point. I'm not going to get all the numbers perfect on this, but I've heard this and I trust it. The world's fastest woman in the 400 meter dash. She breaks a world record, whatever, fastest woman. I remember hearing in a recent year, probably like 2018 or 2017, there's about 50 high school senior boys that will 100% beat the shit out of that record.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ignore that. That's glaringly obvious. Like the evidence is in. We know that the shit. Like we can see it with our own eyes. So she transitioned after she was 34. So it's like she had the advantage of puberty, all the extra testosterone that comes through puberty, and she transitioned after all that. She has a clear advantage.
Yeah, I definitely think like sports is one thing. Everything else in life, and it's like, yeah, fine, go
Yeah,
go
of
compete
course,
for
of
engineers. But
course.
like if you're doing something that's pure physical
yeah.
strength, that's obviously different between the sexes. Like you're just, I don't know.
Yeah,
You're-
I actually
you're-
got.
Everybody should get to say what they want to be and say what they want to be called. And if I meet you and we're friends and you tell me, hey man, this is what I'd like to be called, I'll be like, all right, fucking whatever, dude.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do whatever. I actually did a little bit digging into the weeds here, though. So the International Olympic Committee, they set like a standard for what.
Into the weeds.
Yeah, they set a standard for what transgender athletes have to hit to be able to compete. So she had to hit.
Okay.
Her standard is this. So like I'm gonna crunch the numbers with you. She had to be at a testosterone level of 10 nanomoles per liter for at least 12 months prior to her qualifying in the Olympics. And then when she's in the Olympics and she's competing, she might get randomly tested, and if she's above that level of testosterone, then she can't compete. She'll get suspended. So
That's the only thing.
no, I mean I got I got one more thing.
Oh, okay.
I just had to take a sip of water. So the average male has a normal testosterone level from 9 to 29.
so it's
So
not
she
even
could be a very
she-
below average male and still qualify for the
That's
Olympics.
such bullshit.
No, it's not.
Well, also here's another thing that's interesting. How many women got to have testosterone through puberty and blow up their muscles whenever they were training, and then just be like, all right, well,
If
I'm going to lower my testosterone
Yeah.
though now that
If
I've
she-
developed all these ridiculously sized muscles for a woman.
yeah, if
and I'm just
if
gonna be a
Laurel
woman
can
now.
compete, I say every woman should be able to shoot up steroids because that's the only way to make this shit fair.
And I wasn't saying that the facts were bullshit. I was saying that the fact that like a normal man fit
Oh yeah.
into that range. It's
Yes.
like you
I
just
mean,
have
it's
to
a
be
very
a girly man and you can compete.
Yes, exactly. And then the normal female range is 0.5 to 2.4. So that's how much the
Oh
difference
my
is.
god! So she's just got to hit like
She's barely gotta be
Basically-
below the average. Like she's not even the very bottom. She's
Just
just
don't-
gotta
Oh
be.
Don't eat red meat and you'll make it. That's so.
Yeah, so
jeez.
That's just unfair.
That's pretty crazy. No, that's so unfair. And then this is the most unfair part. So I actually did some more digging into the weeds. The person who didn't qualify, her name was Nina Manumoa, and she's 21 years old. It would have been her.
oh the one that she took.
Yeah,
this
she-
is the one that
yes,
so
she-
who the spot Laurel took.
Yes, she took this
Okay.
girl's 21-year-old Nina Manumoa. I'm totally fucking that up, but it would have
The
been her
Rock
first Olympics.
sister.
Sounds great.
Yeah. She probably looks like the Rock sister too.
Wait,
she probably built
what?
like him too.